We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hello, hello, hello. How are all you guys out there? This is Jackie Elam Live, Entertainment Unlimited. I am your host, Jackie Elam. Welcome to my show. We are going to have two awesome guests today. The first will be Julian Broadus. We will be discussing his career and how he's trying to break into the music industry and how he's trying to do it on his own. He does not want to use his father, who is Snoop Dogg. And I'm like, why not? I surely would. I had a famous parent, I definitely would, but everybody is different. And as we know, sometimes parents who are already in the entertainment industry, they tend to allow their children to grow up and make that choice on their own, whether or not, to put them in at a young age or to wait until they're adults and they want to pursue whatever careers they choose to. Sometimes parents choose to do that. For me, I could use myself as an example. My boys were born into the business, so it was definitely an easy transition for their dad and I to make that choice to say, okay, cool, you did it at a young age and you turned out okay, so we don't mind putting them in. But again, everyone is different, and we've heard many interviews with different celebrities who may go one way or the other. So we're going to talk with him to see why his parents chose to keep him out, and maybe it's because of protecting him, or again, maybe they just wanted him to make that decision on his own. I just want to give you guys a recap on what my show is about. I am here to give a voice to the voiceless in the entertainment industry. I feel that we tend to only hear from the people of, a show that may be successful, the A-listers, the main characters, or if it's in the music business, we tend to hear from people who are, top 10, top 20, at the very top of the Billboard charts, but we don't necessarily hear from the entire team, the team that helped create that song, the songwriter or the producer, unless they're already big. In the movie industry, sometimes we don't get to hear from the set designers. We don't get to hear from the animators. We don't get to hear from the people who do the voiceovers. Unless the show is big again and extremely successful, then we get to hear from them. So I'm trying to create a platform that will allow everyone to be heard. Because I feel like everyone is important, and it takes the entire team to get a project out. And nowadays, it's not just TV and music as far as the entertainment industry. We have social media. We're getting entertained on social media nowadays. And we also have YouTube, which is an amazing platform. There are web series. They even have award shows for web series shows. So that's an awesome thing to know. You don't have to wait until a major record label deal to come in. You don't have to wait until a huge studio network deal come in. You can actually create your content now and choose to get it on these different independent avenues that are out there. And people are entertaining like that. So I'm open to hearing from any and everyone that is entertaining. If you entertain, I want to know your name. So we're going to start the show off with Julian Broadus. Again, his father is Snoop Dogg. He is the third son of Snoop Dogg, and I want to welcome him, I should say. Hello, Julian!
Hello.
He's so handsome, and he's like extremely tall with my heels on. How tall are you?
I'm 6'5", but almost 6'6". So
wow.
I just call people 6'6".
Wow, that's amazing. And you just turned 18, right?
Yeah, in June.
Oh, see, he's not a baby anymore. I don't want to say that. That's my favorite word. But tall and handsome and talented. And so I just want to welcome you. Thank you so much for letting me interview you.
No problem.
So I guess the first thing people would want to know, like, how is it having such like your dad's not just famous. Like when we think of hip hop, honestly, like when we start naming top hip hop artists that have helped the game, changed the game, or even started out in the very beginning, like your dad's name would be one of those top names. He's a legend in the business. So did you know who your dad was growing up, or did you learn that later as you got older?
Oh yeah, I definitely knew who he was, but it was like I was so young and it like never really hit me until I got older and like all of his music would come out and people would be like, oh, like I would hear it like driving down the street or something like that, just outside because everybody used to listen to it like when I lived in Long Beach and it'd be like crazy, like and everybody would look at me like you're that dude's son, like, and I was like, oh man, that's bananas.
I know. I would be freaking out too. I mean,
Yeah.
so did you realize the impact that your dad has around the world at a young age as well?
Oh yeah, very much so, very much so.
Wow. Were you able to like go into the studio with your dad? Have you ever been on any tracks with your dad, as a child? Because I know now you're older trying to pursue it.
Well, I've always been like an athlete, so he didn't want me around all that smoke and everything like that. So I never was in the studio with him, and I never wanted to be on a track with him. I never asked him, or he never asked me. So maybe in the future we got something. I don't know. It can always happen like that.
So he doesn't necessarily know you were trying to pursue, or when did you realize at what age that, okay, I want to also pursue music as well, like my father?
Well, I started writing poetry, and the poetry led into music, and it wasn't like a conscious decision to do music. It was more like I fell into it. So, with that being said, music has always been a passion in my life. Like any way you look at it, anything I do has to have music involved. Whether it be just chilling, whether it be out and about, playing basketball, stuff like that. Everything has to have music involved in it because it makes me feel better. It gives me a different vibe and puts me in a whole different state of mind than I'd be like regularly.
Awesome. I mean, that's great because people like me, I'm not musically inclined whatsoever in any shape or form. But I do love to sing. And even though I can't sing, I can't rap. And I even tried to do karaoke, which is so horrible to any type of fast rapping. I mean, you really think that a lot of people may say that, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody think that they can rap. I feel like I could until I did a Missy Elliott karaoke. And I was like, oh my gosh, because she speaks so fast. And I
Yeah.
was so tongue twisted. And all I could do was just, dip it, dip it, dip it, just played it off because, I mean, really, I know you say you do poetry, but is it a natural transition for people to go from poetry to writing music?
I can't speak on everybody because a lot of people nowadays don't really write their music, so they have
Okay.
people write for them. But for me, it was pretty simple because like my mother has always made me read books, and from those books, I like started to have like a bigger imagination, and like all the stuff that I've been taught in my life has helped me become like the artist that I'm trying to become.
Okay.
So the steps that I'm taking to become the artist that I want to become has bounced off of all the stuff I've learned. So it's like it's nothing crazy for me. Like everybody is like, oh man, I have this huge story about why I'm a rapper. Or it's not like that for me.
So you said you did sports, you read a lot, you were focused on your schooling. Do you know the reason why maybe your parents? I mean, because it's easy. I have my kids in. I don't have a famous, parent, and we're not famous, but we got them in. Do you know the reason why they kept you out of the business?
Um, I have no idea on that part. It's like I guess they were trying to protect me, but
Who knows?
no, who knows?
Again, I mean, every parent is different, and maybe again the protection, because who knows? I don't know. But the great thing is that you're here now and you're older and more mature. So what are you doing to start that process for yourself? Because I spoke with you, about a week or so ago about this, and I'm like really shocked. I'm like, why not? Why are you choosing to do it on your own?
Well, for me, I don't want people to go around telling me, "Oh, you made it only because your dad was behind you and putting you in the right positions." It's not like that. It's not like I'm doing music because I want to be just like my father. I'm doing music because I have a love for it. And when you have a love for something, you don't want it to be tainted with negativity. And I
Exactly.
always want to keep the positive vibes around me and everything like that. So people will always talk about you any way you look at it. That's how you know you're doing something right. And I just don't want it to be for that reason. Like I can live with people like slandering me for my music not being good or at that point, but for them to call it like, oh, you're only this far because of so and so, it's like, okay, like, no, I have talent.
Right. And I want to say for people who tend to have that negative outlook on people because of their family's name, it usually is because it's just a little jealousy. And at the end of the day, if you had a parent and you had access to get resources easier than others, they would most likely use it. But they
Exactly.
don't have that ability to be, related to someone or to know someone to help them in whatever they're trying to do. So a lot of people just like to spit on people's parade, and I don't get it, but it's okay. This show is going to help uplift. This is the whole purpose. People, we need to try to uplift and encourage one another in anything that we are doing. And even when they want to do it on their own, you're going to have a greater reward from trying to pursue this on your own. And that's definitely commendable, I must say.
Yeah. But for me, like, if my dad wants to be a part of this whole thing, like, I'm not gonna be like, don't be a part of it. But like, for right now, I'm just doing it by myself, and I'm gonna take the time out and master my skills. And then when I feel like I'm perfected at my craft, and I'll put a lot more music out there. Cause I've dropped music, but I just don't feel like it's up to par with what I need to be putting it. So I took it back down, and then I just want to recreate and make it sound like what it needs to sound like. Because at first I was recording from my house, and everything doesn't sound right when you record from your house. But I started looking up tutorials on how to master and mix and everything like that. And I was producing some beats for myself, and it's not where I want it to be. So I'm gonna keep going to classes and learning and doing things like that, because I'm only 18. And
Yeah.
if you look at the game, there's only like a certain amount of people who are 18 doing it big, like Lil Yachty, stuff like that. But I don't want to be one of those artists. Like, I want to be an artist that sticks around for a long time, because I want to be able to have multiple talents. I don't want to be a one-dimensional person or a one-dimensional artist.
And so you're honing in on your craft and skills. Are you playing any instruments on your own, or are you just trying to learn how to produce the music on your own?
Sooner than not, I'll be starting like singing and dancing classes, and then going to that. And then hopefully by the time I'm 20, 2 years from now, I'll be where I'm at with that. And then I can just go from there, because I have some people that would love to listen to my music, but like, I just want to make it to the best of its ability.
So you're basically starting at the very beginning, which is studying, taking classes, and doing all the different things to learn about the industry.
Yeah, can't rush the process.
Right. And it's so amazing that you're doing that when you really don't have to. Like, you can just go to Papa, but you don't have to.
I could just make a whole bunch of songs about like rapping and stuff like that, and all the stuff that I've been through, but I feel like I can take my time and really perfect what I'm doing, and then come out with all that stuff in the right time. Because right now the music scene is more like of the South, like it's that trap music, and I mean, like, I can get on a trap song, but it's not me. It's not from the heart. It's not soulful.
What is how can you describe it, since you don't want to let us listen to anything that you pulled off, and I get it, because you want to make sure it's where you want it.
Yeah.
So how can you describe what your sound is?
That's really tough, because as an artist, I don't really have like this is what I sound like. It's like, some people have told me I sound like my dad in some songs. It's really weird for me to hear that. And it's like, I'm like,
Can you hear it? You don't hear it?
I do, but it's just weird for me, because that's like, oh man, that dude's like super famous, and it's like, wow, that means a lot. And they're like, that's really good. But my sound is more something, I can't really express like what it sounds like in like a musical scheme type of deal, but like, It's soulful. That's all I can say. All of my lyrics are real stuff that I've been through. It's nothing like I'm like writing about being in a trap, shooting at people, because that's not the life I lived.
Right.
I had a nice upbringing. Like, my parents were really good to me, but it's like, for me, I'm writing about what I've been through and what I know, and like stories that I see from people and hear and everything like that. All of it is from my perspective of life. And whenever I make a song, I want the listener to understand that like everything I'm writing has a perspective. It's not just blatant lyrics just being written for no reason.
or words that you don't understand, because I nowadays I
Yeah.
feel like some music I'm like, now wait, rewind that back. Now I didn't heard it 15 times and he just made that word up, because I've never heard of that before. And I don't know if they're just doing it to make it rhyme. If is that okay? Is that the new hip hop? Like, can you just say things that don't make sense? It seems like it. So it'd be great if you're bringing great content and coming from that poetry background, telling a story and making your lyrics stand out versus the track. I mean, of course, the track is important too, but you're not trying to sound like the South because you're not from the South, right? Are you
Yeah.
born and raised here in
Yeah.
LA?
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's a sound too, though.
It is.
I mean, because I've been out here for 13 years, and I only a few songs, especially YG and Games. So there are some songs that I get, but some of the LA true hardcore sound, I still haven't adjusted to, because I am from the South.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I don't want to like put myself in like a boat of music, because I'm not gonna do that. That's why I want to do these singing and dancing classes, because I'm gonna expand on what I already have. I mean, it's not like I like not talented enough to make music already, but I just don't want to be like stuck in having to make one type of like genre of music. I can just take my time, really understand what I want to make, and then go from there and do it. Plan it out correctly, and then when it's time for me to make that music and drop it, then it'll be there. And me being 18, I still have a lot of things to learn, a lot to experience, and I just want to make sure that my music sticks.
And someone who is in your position, maybe your age, is what would be the advice that you may tell them, going forward in their career or trying to start their career? Because you're at the very beginning of your stage, in your career. So what would you tell them?
Someone that's in my position?
Yes.
Take your time. Don't rush anything. Don't rush anything, and just take your time, because with that being said, you don't want to make something that's bad and then try and push it, and then when everybody listens to it, they're like, and then you try and push a really good song that you took your time on, and they don't want to listen to it because they have that first taste of what they think your music is. But, everybody's in a rush when it comes to this music stuff, because they want to make that money, like the people in the industry. That's why they drop a whole bunch of songs so quickly, because, they can get on shows and tours and everything like that. But if I'm giving advice to somebody, I'm telling them to take their time and really know what you're talking about in your music, because somebody will ask you, and if you don't want to be caught off guard, like, yeah, I don't know, I just made that up, and then it's like, oh, you're one of those artists, and then you start getting labeled, and a whole bunch of stuff comes with it. Like with this music stuff, it's just a bunch of judgment, and you got to be able to take it and roll with it and put it into your music and make it better.
Okay, and that makes sense. You want to make sure, but do we not allow for room to grow? I mean, is it so much pressure to where you feel like the very first thing you have to be A1 on top of your game, or is it not okay to see the progression of artists nowadays? It seems as if it's a lot of pressure. You have the pressure of being Snoop Dogg's son. You have the pressure of even dropping music that's hot just because of that, and making sure you don't even sound like your father, because you don't want people to have something to say about that. So when we come back from our break, we will elaborate more on the pressure of being a legendary hip hop artist's son, because I know there has to be some pressure. You seem very cool and chill now, very reserved and calm. I don't know if you did a little meditation before you came in here, but I'm like sweating for you. The pressure has to be very, very, very heavy on you. But you are tuning in to Jackie Elam Live, Entertainment Unlimited. We are talking to Julian Broadus, Snoop Dogg's third son. If you didn't know, he had three. And we are talking about his music career. He is pursuing and pushing and grinding and studying. And when he drops his music, you all have to be in tune and listen and go purchase and support him. So stay tuned. Be sure to call in if you have any questions at 323-473-3100. We'll be right back. Thank you.
good time space continuum though. Other remain thorough AF. Splash what you saying, I'm dead. Barbershop type fresh. 24/7 blessed and still rhyme. For fine dining on a China dish. When I break bread in a bow tie, cause baby I'm polished. Since college been popped since around 5 o'clock. Penmanship again jock. I salutate cock block. My floaty thirsty hip hop ears quenched. And ladies in the line and on their lingerie drenched.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.